Hello and welcome everybody, this is Avrix and I am going to be giving you PlayStation Games US release dates for March 2022. Also, you can check below for a pinned comment for information about delayed games. Conan Chop Chop is a party action roguelike for 1 through 4 players and a take on Conan the Barbarian in the style of a 2D cartoon. Features include co-op, different characters to choose from, leveling up your characters, item combinations, a procedurally generated world, and boss fights. PS4 release date March 1st, 2022. Elex 2 is an open world RPG and a sequel to Elex. The character Jax must once again unite the free people of the science fantasy world of Magellan against a new threat, the Skyans, who want to change the face of the planet forever. The game allows you to freely explore the planet of Magellan and traverse the map using a jetpack. Interact with a lived-in world full of NPCs who will remember what you've done and react accordingly. Join or leave your group depending on how you behave and are able to be killed, which will have an effect on the story. Both close and range combat will be available with an improved control system. This game's story will have moral decisions and your actions will have consequences. PS4 and PS5 release date March 1st, 2022. Far Changing Tides is the second entry in the Far series. In this game, you follow the adventure of a boy and his ship as he goes on a voyage to find a new home. You'll have to navigate storms and keep your ship functioning by unlocking parts, fixing faults, and searching the ocean for fuel and salvage. There will be new environments, puzzles, and ship mechanics. PS4 release date March 1st, 2022. Little Orpheus is a side-scrolling action-adventure game where you play the role of a Soviet cosmonaut exploring the inside of the Earth. Originally released for iOS devices in 2020, a remastered version will now be releasing for PC and consoles. Features include remastered visuals for PC with high-res textures, new moves and animations, enhanced graphics and lighting effects, and more. There will also be a bonus 9th episode called A Rush of Onion to the Head, and a mode called The Lost Recordings. PS4 and PS5 release date March 1st, 2022. Shadow Warrior 3 is the next entry in the Shadow Warrior series. It's a series of first-person dynamic action games that blend shooting and melee combat. The series is also known for its humor and one-liners. Shadow Warrior 3 takes place in neo-feudal Japan, a mythic Asian land infused with the magic and technology of ancient samurai, now overrun by the demonic yokoi from Japanese folklore. Gameplay includes movement techniques such as air dashes, wall running, double jumps, and being able to activate hazardous structures and devices to add another layer of creative choice to an offensive strategy. PS4 release date March 1st, 2022. A Musical Story is a rhythm game set against a 70s backdrop. Explore the memories of Gabriel, a young man trying to come to terms with his situation through the connections to his musical memory. Each correctly played melody opens a new chapter into Gabriel's past, bringing him closer to the truth. The game's soundtrack features 26 songs composed and performed by Charles Barden and Valentine Duclos. PS4 and PS5 release date March 2nd, 2022. Babylon's Fall is a brand new take on developer Platinum Games' signature combat. In this cooperative action RPG, you take on the role of a sentinel, once conscripted prisoners of the Empire who are granted unrivaled powers by a parasitic device implanted to their back, the Gideon Coffin. You'll be able to team up with up to 3 players and ascend the Tower of Babel. PS4 and PS5 release date March 3rd, 2022. Gran Turismo 7 is the next major entry in the PlayStation exclusive racing simulator series. The game will have a variety of game modes including GT Campaign, Arcade and Driving School, GT Simulation Mode, and GT Sport Mode. There will be over 420 cars available at Brand Central and used car dealership from day one and over 90 track routes in dynamic weather conditions, including classic courses from GT history. Releasing exclusively on PS4 and PS5 March 4th, 2022. WWE 2K22 is the next entry in the 2K Wrestling sports game series. The game features a new visual effects engine, new camera angles, rescanned superstars, different environments, new controls, and more. The game also introduces My GM, where you will be able to take on the role of a WWE general manager. The game will officially release for PS4 and PS5 on March 8, 2022 for those who purchase the Deluxe Edition or the NWO for Life Edition, and will be delayed until March 11, 2022 for everyone else. Assassin's Creed Valhalla: Dawn of Ragnarok is the third major expansion for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. The DLC is inspired by Norse mythology and lets you take on the role of Odin, who is searching for his son. PS4 and PS5 release date March 10, 2022. Aztech: Forgotten Gods is a 3D platformer action-adventure game that follows the character Actili, a young Aztec woman in her quest to become a hero by wielding the power of the gods. You'll be able to explore a technologically advanced modern Aztec city that is also heavily rooted in an ancient traditional Mesoamerican inspired world and face off against gigantic creatures resembling deities from the Aztec pantheon. PS4 and PS5 release date March 10, 2022. Submerged: Hidden Depths is a standalone sequel to Submerged. The sequel is a third-person exploration game set in a world of water and ruins. You'll play as siblings, one determined to use her curse for good, the other determined to not let it destroy them. Navigate the waters in Whitecaps as you scour the city ruins for the seeds of its salvation. PS4 and PS5 release date March 10, 2022. The Cruel King and the Great Hero is a turn-based side-scrolling RPG. The game follows the story of a girl named Yu and a dragon who prepares his apprentice to become a heroine. The graphics are hand-drawn and resemble an illustrated children's book. PS4 release date March 11, 2022. Grand Theft Auto V is the fifth major installment in the massively popular action sandbox game series. An expanded and enhanced version will be released for PlayStation 5. PS5 release date March 15, 2022. Grand Theft Auto Online is an expansion for Grand Theft Auto V and will be released on the PS5 as a standalone title. It introduces online multiplayer and allows players to create their own avatar and explore the city of Los Santos. The expansion will be free to obtain for the first 3 months after launch for PS5 players. PS5 release date March 15, 2022. Phantom Breaker Omnia is a fast-paced 2D anime fighting game and an expanded version of Phantom Breaker Extra. Features include the availability of all characters from the previous game in addition to 2 new characters, 3 different fighting styles to choose from, an overhauled and rebalanced fighting system, English voice acting for all characters with translated text for other languages, and a remixed soundtrack. PS4 release date March 15, 2022. ANNO Mutationem is an action-adventure game with RPG elements set in a cyberpunk world, featuring a mix of pixelated 2D and 3D graphic style. You'll play as the character Anne, a highly skilled combat-trained lone wolf in the giant metropolis full of sinister megacorporations, mysterious friends groups, and creatures. The story features the main character Anne Flores and her sidekick Ayane on a personal mission to find out where her missing brother has gone to. You will be able to collect, buy, or craft items and upgrade Anne's stats, skills, and gear. You'll also use chips to modify any kind of weapon you find. PS4 and PS5 release date March 17, 2022. Monster Energy Supercross 5 is the next entry in a series of motorcycle racing games that allows you to test yourself in Supercross. It recreates the 2021 season of the Monster Energy Supercross Championship and offers many new features compared to previous installments. PS4 and PS5 release date March 17, 2022. Persona 4 Arena Ultimax is an updated version of Persona 4 Arena, which is a fighting game spin-off for Persona 3 and Persona 4. The Ultimax version includes all previously released Persona 4 Arena Ultimax content, including the original Persona 4 Arena story. PS4 release date March 17, 2022. Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins is an action RPG spin-off of the main Final Fantasy series. In this game, Jack must take on numerous challenges to bring the Light of the Crystals back to Cornelia, a kingdom conquered by darkness. You'll fight your way through battles with a variety of means to defeat your enemies. With multiple difficulty options and a selection of jobs and weapons available to customize your party, you can choose exactly how you want to play. The The game will officially release for PS4 and PS5 on March 15th, 2022 for those who pre-order, and will be delayed until March 18th, 2022 for everyone else. Ghostwire Tokyo is a first-person action-adventure game. Tokyo's population has vanished, and deadly supernatural forces prowl the streets. Wield a combination of upgradable elemental powers and ghost hunting skills to combat the supernatural threat. Use your ethereal abilities to ascend to the top of the Tokyo skyline and soar over the streets to discover new missions or even get the drop on your enemies. The game will officially release for PS4 and PS5 on March 22nd, 2022 for those who purchased the deluxe edition, and will be delayed until March 25th for everyone else. A Memoir Blue is a narrative adventure game where you play as an athlete swimmer named Miriam who dives into her own memories to recall her troubled past. The game blends hand-drawn and 3D art. The developers describe the game as an interactive poem about a superstar athlete and the all-encompassing love between mother and daughter. PS4 and PS5 release date March 24th, 2022. Lumote is a 3D puzzle platformer about two opposing powers in a struggle for control. Blue power controlled by Lumote and red by the Mastermote. You play as Lumote, a bioluminescent creature whose only abilities are to jump and possess. You must take control of the world's inhabitants, the motes, and use their abilities to progress. Depending on whose power controls a mote, their behavior will either help or hinder you on your journey into the depths as you search for the Mastermote. PS4 release date March 24th, 2022. Tiny Tina's Wonderland is a first-person looter shooter and a spin-off of the Borderlands series. Tiny Tina's Wonderland takes place in a fantasy tabletop realm guided by Tiny Tina where rules rarely apply. You'll explore cities, forests, fortresses, and more. Combat will include guns and spells. You'll be able to play alone or play with up to 4 players. PS4 and PS5 release date March 25th, 2022. Crusader Kings III is the third entry of a series of real-time grand strategy games taking place during the Middle Ages. This game will be ported to the PlayStation 5. PS5 release date March 29th, 2022. In Nightmare is a narrative-driven horror adventure game combining sneak action with diverse puzzles. Taking place in a nightmarish dream world, it follows a young boy in search for the last hope of love who is working out his own salvation by navigating through his fear. Experiencing effects of a broken family and the heartache it brings, a young child will escape reality into a dark, whimsical world created from his own memories. This sets him on his journey to uncover what truly lies within. Having suffered in reality, his past trauma turns into terrifying monsters that want to keep him in an eternal nightmare. With the help of his dream spirit, the boy will find ways to sneak past enemies, overcome intricate puzzles, embrace his fear, and uncover the truth so that he may be able to purify the monsters he has created and finally wake up. Releasing exclusively on PS4 and PS5 March 29th, 2022. The Elder Scrolls Online Ascending Tide is an expansion for the MMORPG The Elder Scrolls Online. The expansion acts as an introduction to the events in the High Isles chapter. Your main task is to explore the remains of the once proud All Flags fleet and storm the coastal hideout of the mysterious Ascendant Order. PS4 and PS5 release date March 29th, 2022. Weird West is an action-adventure RPG and simulation game. It reimagines the Wild West as a dark fantasy where lawmen and gunslingers share the frontier with fantastical creatures, each playing with their own rules and their own peculiar motives. The game supports different styles of play in a simulated sandbox world where characters, factions, and even places react to a player's decisions. PS4 release date March 31st, 2022. Tropico 6 Next Gen Edition is an updated version of Tropico 6 for current generation consoles. Tropico 6 is an economy strategy game where you can become a feared dictator or peace-loving statesman on the island state of Tropico and shape the fate of your very own banana republic through 4 distinctive eras. PS5 release date March 31st, 2022. Which one of these games are you looking forward to? If this video was informative or helpful to you in any way, I would appreciate a positive rating. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.